All right, and we're live. All right, hello and welcome to another episode of the Football is King podcast. We are four stooges who are going to talk today a lot about some random miscellaneous stuff. Football. Expect some heated debates today, and a lot of nonsense. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. We're going to go through less specific games and more specific situations from around the league. We are your four masters of all football content, smarter than Mike McCarthy and Jerry Jones combined, and we're ready to go. All right. But before we get started on that, we're going to talk about, we got a couple facts of the week. Our first one is going to be our recurring segment, Untrue Fact of the Week. And that is, after the past couple weeks, the NFL has decided officially today that they're going to begin an anger management course for all players that are shown, or players or coaches that are shown to throw temper tantrums on the field of play or in the press box. Looking at you, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II, or
I respected it by the Bills coach. I'm not going to lie, and I
whoever the
respect
Bills
the
OC
that covered
is.
the camera.
Yeah,
What was his name?
I will say, I forget who their OC is, but we don't know whose hand it was, but that's a good wingman right there to like, hey, this guy's been raging. Let's go throw my hand in front of the camera so no one can see it.
He was a little late.
He deserves a raise. That's what
he was a little late.
Ken
Dorsey, yeah. Former Miami Hurricanes quarterback from back in the day. But yeah, it was we've had some anger issues out there. I think we'll also have to throw Chris Jones in that department as well for whatever naughty words he said to Matt Ryan to get a 15-yard penalty to cost the Chiefs the game. I'm not bitter about that at all.
Oh, no, I'm a big fan of a massive human being standing up and trying to go after his coach, and the coach stands up and he's about 2 feet shorter than him.
Yeah, I'm a
big fan of that.
We're going to also throw in there the Texas Tech fan who decided to shove a UT player afterwards. He needs some anger management as well.
That wasn't a shove, dude. That was a full out layout. He laid
it was. That guy needs to join the anger management class as well. So that's our untrue fact of the week.
What was worse? What was worse, the Kyler Murray assault or the Chris Jones chirping Matt Ryan?
The Kyler Murray shit was so stupid. I think he was trying to high-five him and just slap him in the face because all these fans are over here slapping each other. And then Kyler overreacted like a little baby.
I mean, I get both sides of it. Kyler doesn't see like what happens, and he just feels a hand hit him in the face, and he's a professional athlete, and it's, they were in Vegas, right? So it was a Vegas fan. So you just assume when you go to the black hole and someone smacks you in the face that it's a negative thing, but it wasn't, and he didn't see it.
You ran over, pumping your fist, high-fiving all these people, jumping up and down, and you didn't expect like, oh shit, we just beat these guys in a bad beat. Like, dude, you're lucky someone didn't just clock the fuck out of you instead of just giving you a high five to the face.
Dude, if someone decided to do that, I think that they could knock Kyler Murray out. However, the offensive lineman for the Arizona Cardinals would kill him. He would be dead, like actually dead. Like he would be pummeled to a pulp. That would be a poor life choice by that individual.
Yeah, but tell me how many times you've Googled Malice in the Palace, dude. Imagine that. Football, fight in the stands.
Yeah, it would not be, and all the football players are safe because they got their helmets on still. So like the fans stand no chance. Like they can get no slugs in there. All right. That's enough violence talk. We also have, this is a true fact that we looked up before the podcast recorded today. The Jacksonville Jaguars, possibly the best team in football, of all of football, professional, college. They're amazing, apparently, because Doug Peterson is now tied for 5th all time on the Jacksonville Jaguars head coaching wins list with 2 wins, because that's how bad Jacksonville's had it for a long time.
Can you name another Jacksonville Jaguars coach that's ahead of him?
Ahead of him, Tom Coughlin. Marone led them to the AFC Championship game, and that's all I got. Those 2.
He definitely had 2.
Yeah, but we talked about a little bit pre-podcast that Mr. Finger the bum also got 2 wins last year. Mr. Urban Meyer at the Chop House.
He got 4 wins. He got 2 in the regular season, and then 2 at the Chop House.
Can you imagine Trevor Lawrence literally being like going from Urban Meyer, possibly the guy that could have ruined his career, to what's his face, Doug Peterson.
Doug
And now
Peterson,
he
who
looks pretty
won a
good.
Super Bowl with Nick Foles over Tom Brady.
He looks like he has a pulse. I'm not gonna lie.
The Jaguars, they're
Look
kind
good.
of scary good. I am immediately regretting my my futures pick on them with the under, because I really didn't think Doug Peterson could do it, but now I am terrified. Like, they're already at 2 wins. The AFC South
killed them.
The AFC South looks terrible. They look so bad. Okay, so I don't know if y'all watched that game though, but like, Herbert is dead. Like, his ribs, he's got nothing. Like, now they scored 38 points. Their offense looks great, but Herbert he just looked bad. Like, so.
Well, and his coach still threw the ball. His coach is a dipshit. He threw the ball 30-something times that game.
Well,
what the heck was Staley doing?
Well, I don't know why Staley, like, they're down 38-10 with 5 minutes left in the game, and Herbert was still on the field. Like, you get
take
him
out of the game.
Yeah. Put Tyrod. I don't know. Is Tyrod still there? Put Tyrod in. Let's see what happens.
Tyrod's suing that doctor. That's my question. Your team physician is being sued for malpractice.
Did you see how they did the pain injection this week so that it didn't happen?
Yeah.
They ultrasounded it.
Why on earth is this guy still there? Like, he's still there. He's still the head doctor?
Because is Spanos still the owner of the Chargers? Like, Spanos is he's kind of the worst.
But dude, I'm just saying, I'm sure you can find a doctor that's not going to stab your quarterback in the lung.
Staley committed coaching malpractice.
Speaking of
coaching malpractice, that was coaching malpractice, leaving his guy in.
We will have a section of coaching malpractice, because there's quite a bit, and as we've said before, we know more than all of the head coaches. So I thought also, before we got going too far, let's say some thoughts and prayers out there for Myles Garrett with his major car accident and all that stuff.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
Did you see his car?
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
I didn't see this.
Oh, his car was not in good shape.
He definitely rolled it a couple times.
Yeah, him and the passenger are supposed to be fine, so that's good. But hopefully we'll be able to see Myles Garrett back on the football field soon, because the Browns are actually having a decent season. I mean, he's a monster.
He is a truck of a human being. So, like, he can handle a lot more than most people.
He's very interestingly proportioned.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Like, he's not your typical defensive end build. Like, he's kind of like lanky in a sense. Like, he reminds me of like a buffer Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like, that's who he makes me think of.
Like a basketball player, lanky, tall.
He's pretty thick though.
He is.
What about a fullback type? Not old school fullback, but like before fullbacks were obsolete. Like, he's kind of built like that.
No, because he's 6. What is he? 6'6"?
Yeah,
he's like I think of like a bunch of defensive ends. They seem not short because they're still professional athletes, but like shorter. Like,
but stocky.
If I'm looking at like Von Miller's not stocky. Von Miller to me is small and quick compared to offensive linemen. But like Myles Garrett is like taller than offensive linemen, which is rare. And he still gets like underneath them. And I mean, his arms are massive.
Quick.
And his first step is great. After I saw his little car accident news, I just went and watched a bunch of highlights from him from A&M, and it was great. It was a great day. He was a beast. All right. So there you go. Hopefully you do well in the upcoming future, Myles Garrett, and that you will recover quick, because the Browns need you. Even though they are 2-1, they need some help on the defensive side of the ball. All right, let's review really quickly our picks from this week.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we're doing it. Oh, hey, 3 of us are above 500, so that's good. I went perfect 3-0. Life was good. Jonathan and I got the perfect situation with getting our lines at different bookies, where Jonathan had the 2.0, so he pushed, and I got the Arkansas plus 2.5, and that's a win. So we survived with that. Jonathan is the sharp of the group, continues to impress. Shane got a win, which is good. Didn't go 0-3, but hit a couple X's, and then Blake went 2-1. So Jonathan,
Take
Blake,
2-1.
Jonathan, Blake, and I all made it above the 500 mark. Shane, not hot at the moment, which means this week he's due for a perfect 3-0. And we'll get to
saying that.
What's that?
Yeah.
What's the overall number now? What are we at?
overall.
Yeah.
Let's see.
We'd have to put it together.
No, I got it. 17.
Oh, he's got it right at the
17 for us. 17 against us and 2 pushes. So we're like right at 50%, which is not a good number for gambling. You want to get to at least 55% to make money.
Shane, we're gonna need you to step it up, bud.
Hey, we're all
Dude,
gonna step it up. This week is 3-0. The
I-
lines, we don't feel confident about any of them, and that's the week
no.
crush.
Question. It may never happen. If we all 4 go 3-0 on a week, like a straight week of perfection, we gotta do something.
If we
I'll
all go
quit my
3,
job and live off
no,
the
no.
government.
if we all go 3-0, we'll make like a 10-leg parlay and throw it out there and for the next week.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all, in my 4 parlays this weekend that I won, had I parlayed them all together, I would be richer now.
Oh yeah, but that would be psychotic of you. But we'll throw
It
a
would be.
10-leg. We'll throw a
Click on
10-leg
it.
parlay out there, and we'll just dominate and make somebody millions of dollars because we've got thousands of listeners by this point in time, so you can pay attention. And
No, for sure.
We're super famous, so that's good. Okay.
Sponsored by Little Caesars.
Yes, we're not sponsored, but Little Caesars, the official pizza sponsor of football this year. Please sponsor us.
Yeah, that would be great. I'm going to eat this entire pizza by the time the end of the podcast. Actually, I only have 2 pieces left. So,
Yeah.
Barry, this one's for you because I heard you don't like when I eat on the podcast. So,
All righty, let's get into all of the I don't know what to call this segment, but we're going to debate some things or not. Maybe we'll agree, but we've got 4 topics of debate for today that the internet has been blowing up about since Sunday and so on or Thursday actually of last week that are all football related. And I think the internet is stupid. So I wanted to argue with you guys, possibly if you are on the team of the internet. The first one, Sunday, we did have one of the greatest sports plays of all time in the Buffalo-Miami Dolphins game. And that was the butt punt. It was great, but people were comparing it and saying that it's better than the butt fumble. And that is, I don't know if people have ever watched the butt fumble or like it recently. The butt fumble is glorious, not only because it's Mark Sanchez and it's the Jets and it's during the Patriots in their dynasty, but it led to a touchdown, which is the best part.
Nothing beats straight up running into like a punter and a punt protector. I can see the confusion there.
Plus,
but
it's a
nothing
short
beats a
field.
quarterback just running into a lineman and just
For absolutely no reason. And he's like trying to slide at the same time. Like, he's trying to slide and he hits the butt and the ball comes out. And then like the Patriots just easily walk it into the end zone.
Mark Sanchez said it best. Stay in your lane. This is where he lives. Like,
Yeah.
The butt punt wasn't all that bad, just given the situation.
Now, I do have a question while we're on that. So we're all in agreement. It sounds like the butt fumble is worse. But does that
100%.
personal protector, like, did he have to go to the doctor to like get his butthole checked out afterwards? Because that thing was like, it was smack dab the middle. And Thomas Morstead is a great punter. He's got long legs. That ball had some velocity.
Pat McAfee, who is the authority on punters, said that dude is feeling it this morning.
Yeah.
Or yesterday morning.
Did you see how
He's feeling
high the ball went into the air? Like it went a long way.
I know one thing, he is chafing like crazy right now,
That
and
hurt.
whatever it's called where your butthole goes inverted, that's what he's got.
He's probably got some hemorrhoid issues, I would
A
bet.
prolapsed butthole.
Yeah.
Yes, it is not good.
YouTube just blocked us. There you
Yep,
go.
there it was. All right. Topic number 2 was, so we had that debate going on. And then in possibly the worst football game that has ever happened, the Denver Broncos beat the San Francisco 49ers 11-10. Yep, that was
How
the
many
score.
people?
11-10.
How many people stayed up? How many people do you think? I mean, I stayed up for the whole game stupidly, but how many people do you think stayed up for that game? Because it can't have good numbers.
Not as much as normal, but I mean, I was up because I was watching House of the Dragon. So, hey, HBO, if you would also like to sponsor us, bring it on. So I was watching the game and House of the Dragon, and so I stayed up for the whole thing. Also, Denver is a division rival, so I was watching it because I was hoping they were going to lose. And Jimmy G let me down for the first time all year, so bummer.
That was the worst football game ever.
It was, but it did bring us a great moment when Jimmy G ran out of the end zone.
Oh,
it was a step backwards.
It was a step backwards. And then Dan Orlovsky.
And then he threw a pick six and got saved by going out of the end zone. So that's the problem.
Yeah, that was the worst part.
So, I mean, you can honestly say, like, it was a good thing. But, like, Dan Orlovsky trying to come out there and he's already famous, but he's trying to say that he's free. No, you're not, Dan Orlovsky.
No.
You ran for 30 yards. And Jared Allen.
Dan is still running.
Yeah,
Dan is still running out of bounds.
Every time that he says something that I disagree with, I'm just like, well, you ran out of the end zone, so I don't.
Dan ran to the sidelines and had no clue why everyone stopped the play. He's still wondering why everyone stopped the play.
Dan has just been waiting for this moment for what has been 8 years, probably more, for something like this similar to happen, just so he can feel a little vindicated because that was such a terrible play.
Here's my thing. It was a bad play. But there's something about Jimmy G throwing a pick six after doing it.
Well, he already knew he had a safety, so he was.
It was simultaneous.
That happened.
It was simultaneous, like it's his back foot throws.
Thinking he was going to make a throw.
Yeah, but okay, so then you're just saying what's worse, throwing a pick six or running out of the end zone for 15 yards? And I'm taking running out of the end zone for 15
I am too. Dan is still confused, I'm telling you.
Out of the end zone and then threw the pick six.
His backing out of the end zone was like half of a step.
Yeah, I will take the stepping back out of the end zone than the straight up just run out of the end zone.
Also, he was about to get crushed. Like that guy was coming right up the middle, and Jimmy G was gonna get murdered.
I just thought it was funny that him stepping out saved him from throwing a pick six.
Yeah,
it was actually a better play for him.
I think the refs also make Dan's worse than Jimmy G's because the refs don't blow the whistle for a long time in Dan Orlovsky running out of the back. With Jimmy G, they're just immediately like, oh, he stepped out, safety, boom, done.
Yeah.
And like Dan ran for a lot, like literally Jared Allen is the one who's like motioning to the referee, like he's out of bounds, like blow the whistle, like it's a safety. And like it was great. All right.
Dan's is way worse. There's no argument.
Now, this one is going to be interesting, I think. We have George Pickens' catch on Thursday Night Football, which was insane.
A good catch.
It was great. It was a great catch. Like the physics of it, like over the left shoulder, over to the right shoulder, and just grabbing it out of the air. And then that was obviously compared to OBJ's against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, but now they're comparing CD Lamb's catch to all those two, and I'm like, I don't think.
CD's was a good catch, but it wasn't.
It was a good catch, but also CD's is automatically discounted for dropping a touchdown that hit him square in the chest. That was the best throw that Cooper Rush has ever thrown. So yeah, I think, but CD's is different.
Laughing about it. That really pissed me off. I'm not even a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, you could look up hundreds of catches that are similar to CD's. You could look up like maybe 3 or 4 that are equal to OBJ.
Joe, I actually think if you have equal situations and you're just going purely on catch, George Pickens was a better catch.
Oh, here we go.
I think it was.
George Pickens doesn't catch it clean.
That dude was literally almost on his backside when he caught it.
Odell had a guy hanging on him and catches it clean.
Rose, what is it called when the priest?
Oh Lord!
Are we trying to bring?
The priest gets the demon out of you.
Exorcism.
Exorcism. That he literally was bent backwards like an exorcism, like a demon was leaving his body, and he caught that ball clean as hell. You're telling me George Pickens had a better catch than that? Nah. Nah.
It was a pretty dang good catch. Maybe
It was
I
a
didn't
great
catch it in the
catch.
moment.
It was a great catch. It wasn't Odell Beckham's catch.
I think that
I-
George Pickens' body angle is
It was
better,
crazier.
but
That's
Odell's
what makes it crazier to me.
no, Odell's catch with if you throw onto it that I think it's Brandon Carr is the corner at that time is just mugging him at the same time. And the thing for me is Pickens, it's a one-handed catch, but it's not. He uses only one hand and his arm because he doesn't catch it clean. Odell catches that with his fingertips, and that's it.
Here's what
The ball does not come off of his hand, while George Pickens does, and that's why OBJ's is better.
Here's my only critical thing. I want to see a man do that with no gloves on.
Oh, I mean, that ain't happening.
Do that with no gloves, and then we'll talk.
I think Calvin Johnson or like Julio Jones are the two
Yeah.
people who could do that without gloves on.
Everyone
Those
else
gloves are
needs
so
cutters.
sticky. Those
But-
gloves are so sticky.
But still, like, I mean, that's so much fingertip strength just to like, boom, I caught it. And like, I think Pickens on the route isn't like stumbling as much. Now he has to make the dive or whatever, but like OBJ is being thrown off by like the defender. Also, he does a great job of keeping his body in bounds because he's right on the sideline. Because like it would have been a great catch, but possibly he like would have been out of bounds while Pickens had plenty of room from the sideline. That I mean, OBJ's was just. I still haven't seen a catch that's better than that. It's crazy to me.
The one thing about Pickens' catch is in the week leading up to it, he goes to a press conference and said he's open 100% of the time. So that makes it kind of good that you go say, I'm open 100% of the time, and then you make that snap.
He proved it. He proved it.
I'll give you credit there. You're open.
Speaking of
Yeah, go for it.
Odell, did you guys see the video of the college kid that started racing some random freaking car
Yeah.
down the road, and it was Odell
was
Beckham,
Odell.
and he starts
Yeah.
hanging out the window with the phone?
I did
I
not
saw
see
that.
that.
I haven't seen that.
Dude,
pretty
it's
funny.
funny. It's funny. Look it up.
Yeah.
It's a good one. He's like when you randomly start racing someone on the street, and then it's a video of Odell hanging out the window, laughing, pointing at him.
It was
good.
pretty funny.
And they're obviously going fast because Odell's car is weaving through traffic, just like flying past people.
Safety first.
I think also that game had the worst beat of the season so far, possibly for the whole season. With the anytime there's a lateral play that ends up in a touchdown, it's just great. Like Vegas is just either they're ecstatic or they're getting murdered by it. Those are the two choices. And that time they won a bunch of money because I think that made to where Pittsburgh didn't cover the spread. So
Yeah.
it was
And
it was good.
screwed me.
Yeah. Hey, on that note, by the way, Cleveland, number 5 offense in the NFL without Deshaun Watson with Jacoby Brissett as quarterback. That's kind of crazy, which is not good because, like we said on episode 1, book the Browns for a Super Bowl ticket because when Deshaun returns, they're going to be a problem.
So all the talk about not putting Deshaun in is going to go to wayside because they're going to have a good record. Because a lot of people, and myself included, thought if the Browns are not in contention, you don't play Deshaun. You set him, you leave it be. But they might be good. You get them in playoffs.
I think the only way that Deshaun Watson doesn't play is if the Browns win every single one of their games until then. That's the only way.
Could you imagine if he comes in and they win a Super Bowl?
I really think my
sports
conspiracy
journalist
theory.
outrage would be awesome.
My conspiracy theory is that you will see the most rigged Super Bowl of all time. I think the refs will have that game so rigged that the Browns can't win, which is hilarious. Can you imagine?
That would be insane.
Can you imagine being a Browns fan? And how long has it been since they've won a championship? Like forever. And then the Browns fans are we already talked about this. They're full on the scumbag. Hey, we don't care. We just want to win football games.
Whoa.
Deshaun Watson.
Whoa.
What?
We just lost like 100 viewers right there.
That's fine.
Call all Browns
but
fans
can you imagine you being a Browns fan, you're so excited. Your team's in the Super Bowl for the first time, and then you're just watching it at home, and it's like clearly rigged by the referees so that you don't win. Like that would just be so sad, but also so hilarious at the same time for us non-Browns fans. But for the Brown, like that would just be heartbreaking.
They're currently 20 plus 2,500 to win their conference on.
I will say this though, the suspension was kind of rigged too, because their first about 6 weeks are the easiest 6 weeks in the NFL.
Yeah.
So it's going to be hard to know who they are until they start playing.
The AFC North is not that good. The Bengals are not that good. The Ravens should win the division, but they're not.
I think the Bengals will figure something out, but their O-line is horrible.
Their O-line is terrible. So any defensive line that's good, they will struggle.
They just spent a bunch of money on the offensive line. I don't get how
what a surprise.
Well,
Zach Taylor is really bad at evaluating talent.
New York does that every year. They never get a better offensive line.
Seriously, are you talking about the Giants?
Yes.
Because the Giants might be the worst franchise at evaluating talent I have ever seen. Is it Evan Neal? I don't know what his first name is. Neal, right tackle, the New York Giants.
I'm pretty sure it's Evan Neal.
That man, I know he's going against DeMarcus Lawrence, who has been one of the better pass rushers in the NFL over the last 10 years. But DeMarcus Lawrence is an old man now in football years, and he got embarrassed last night on just every play. Like DeMarcus Lawrence destroyed him. And Micah Parsons didn't even play because he was injured, or not injured. He was sick. So like Micah barely played. If Micah would have been on that side, Micah would have broke Strahan's record in one game.
I was slightly impressed with the Giants though.
No, but he's an idiot. Why you see Neal getting beat all night long? Double team that son of a bitch.
They were chipping and like crazy, but Neal was getting beat so bad that Saquon couldn't help block. That's how bad he was getting beat off the ball. He just wouldn't touch him. He would get nowhere near him. I think Daniel Jones dropped back like 45 times last night, and he was pressured on 27 of those dropbacks.
Yeah, it was like the highest pressured quarterback in
the sad part was when he wasn't pressured, he was pretty dang good.
He's all right. He's all right. He only throws the ball 90 miles an hour. That's my only problem. He has no touch.
I like Daniel Jones, man. I like the way he plays. It's just
I felt really bad for Sterling Shepard when he tore his ACL last night.
Okay, turf fields have to go.
Turf fields got to go.
Turf's
got to go. We're all in agreement.
If you are a professional sports franchise and you can't pay for natural grass and someone to maintain it, that's on you.
Yeah,
turf's bad.
All right.
Yeah, and that injury speaks for itself because that is blatant. Just turf does that.
Yeah,
there's no excuse.
I mean, he was by himself. He literally was just running
on the exact same play. It happened on the Diggs interception to seal the game. Sills also falls. Like Sills also slips on the turf field, and that's why Diggs gets the pick. But then Sterling also then tears his ACL on the same play. Like it was a prime. Every receiver that was trying to cut into their route struggled because they're playing on turf instead of natural grass.
Can Roger Goodell not tell these people, like, look, we're not doing this no more. Like, this is stupid.
You can. Yeah, I think you could technically, as a commissioner, come out and ban turf.
We're going to talk about. We're going to talk. Hey, that's a great teaser for later in the podcast. We're going to talk about other things about stadiums that should be banned forever, aka open roofs. Later on, it's terrible. There you go, Jonathan. Throw your horns down. All right, last thing we got to talk about before we get into more miscellaneous things and coaching malpractice. This is for Sarah, who decided to and tweeted into us, hey, if you want us to talk about anything, tweet in to @FIK Podcast on Twitter, or you could email us at fikpodcast@gmail.com. And she wanted us to talk about Taylor Swift's new album or whatever that's coming out. And that is football related, because Taylor Swift was offered and was apparently going to accept the Super Bowl halftime show. Instead, she declined it to re-record all of her albums that she has not re-recorded because of, I don't know, her dispute. And so now we will have Rihanna doing the Super Bowl halftime show. Another person who has not come out with a new album since 2016. So there's fun times.
Why can't we get George Strait? I don't understand.
Dude, no. Hey, I saw George Strait at ACL last year.
Hey, you shut your mouth. He's a
It's
saint.
not great. It's not
He's
great.
a saint.
What a
he's-
buzzkill, by the way. Rihanna over Taylor.
I was
I
gonna
mean,
say,
yeah.
I would
would
rather
jam
have
out
Taylor
to Taylor,
Swift.
bro.
Give me
Yeah,
Taylor
Taylor
As a
Swift
man-
for sure.
Give me Taylor Swift.
As a man
Any day.
that listened to the complete album of Evermore through the night one night when
Yeah.
it came out, how are we forgetting about Taylor Swift here?
Now,
Rihanna, buzzkill.
I will say the
Buzzkill.
NFL is really dumb because
Dude,
my
does
number
this mean Chris Brown can't come?
probably not.
Yeah, Chris Brown won't be there.
I'm sure there's a pill for that. I think the NFL, if they were really smart, if they wanted like a high amount of views during halftime, they're missing their headliner, which I know that they always want to have a female headliner now. So they're like, blah, 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 blah. Harry Styles is who they should have got.
No.
Dude,
I've heard this.
It works.
I've heard this from multiple
Harry
people.
Styles is who they should have got. You would have got so many more people who typically don't watch football. I won't say who they are watching this game. So they watch Harry
I think
Styles.
Taylor would have got that.
Oh, Taylor.
Dude,
but-
T-Swizzle comes up, boom, out the gate, just kills it with
Every woman in
22.
America is watching the Super Bowl if Taylor Swift is playing the halftime show.
Correct.
Dude.
But those women are also watching. But let me tell you, as a high school teacher, the high school students care less about Taylor than they do about Harry.
That's
Oh
sad.
my
That
God.
is
Well,
that
the
is
high school
malpractice.
students suck. Like that
Well,
sucks.
Yeah.
Hey, high school
someone who
students,
has
y'all
seen
are
Taylor
great.
Swift
I love
perform
y'all. You give
live,
me a job.
It's amazing.
So as we
I was
record
so
this
pissed
podcast-
when I saw Rihanna was doing the halftime show. I was like, "Are you kidding me? I'm getting Rihanna. I'm not
As-
watching this horse
As
shit."
we
I didn't
record
ask
this
for that.
podcast, Harry Styles is actually doing a concert in Austin, Texas right now. He's doing 6 days in Austin that are all sold out.
That
Like,
would make sense.
my
No, that
gosh.
would make
Dude,
sense though.
the-
It's awesome.
The
It's
dude,
awesome.
no, but the dude moves tickets like crazy. Like he's the number one guy. You know, right now he's tied. His song has been number one for I think the third longest of all time
Dude, I know
on like
I'm
the top
30,
charts. I
but
mean,
I don't know a single song of his.
I
Me
don't
Not a
neither.
even.
single
neither.
one.
I mean, I do because of my students, but like I'm not like his biggest fan. I just think that right now, this is the most controversial thing that'll be said on this podcast. I think Harry Styles is above Taylor Swift. I think it is. I think he is.
No,
No.
give me
I think he is.
Give me
If you
T
only hang
Swift
out with
in a
high
good
school students, maybe.
Yeah.
Taylor
No,
Swift is
dude.
way
T
bigger.
Swizzle, baby. T
give me
Swizzle.
T Swift in a good
Hey.
heartbreak song.
Sarah
I'm
Sarah
all
is
in.
gonna have a strong reaction to this, by the way. I
Give
can
me
Hey,
tell you.
that's
Love
fine.
Story. Let me
Wait.
jam out to Love Story. I know every freaking word to like half these damn songs.
I'm gonna figure out a way to edit this podcast, and I'm just gonna post just this clip, and we'll post it out there, and we'll go viral immediately.
Dude,
They'll think that they're
Swizzle
gonna not
all
come
the
for the
way.
football, but we will go
Fuck Harry
viral.
Styles.
The Swifties will come after us. We'll get death threats.
That might be our way to get fame, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
I
hey, let's
think
get-
we should have had Sarah on as a guest speaker for
I-
this topic because she probably would have
I
been.
agree.
you know what?
Killing us.
Hey, if we need, we can get Sarah's response next week on
Well,
the podcast.
Next week we have another guest. We'll talk about that later.
We will have some
Hey,
future guests. First set
We'll
of
have
guests
some
on
future
the
guests.
FIK podcast. It's gonna be great.
What a
All right.
tease.
Let's get back to football because that's what this podcast is all about.
T-Swizzle,
We're going to
baby.
move on to a little bit of college football now. Not everything will be college, but we're going to go for a college talk for a little bit. And we're going to enter the coaching malpractice section of the podcast because there's just so much. One of my biggest ones that I think is a common theme, though, was seen in the Texas Tech versus Texas football game this weekend, playing in Lubbock. Texas Tech gets the win in overtime, but they score a field goal to take the lead with 21 seconds left in the game. What do you do on the kickoff? Do you kick it out of bounds? Do you kick it in play?
Kick
Kick
it
it
in
out.
play.
I'm kicking it in play. I've seen two
You
many
kick it in
times where guys
play.
get the ball with 21 seconds left. And
Because-
they two completions and you're in field goal range.
Specifically in college football, because
Have
they
good coaching.
don't have
The
to get
whole
out of
field.
bounds. They don't have to
Yeah,
get
the-
out of
the whole
bounds.
field.
They have the whole field, and college football is the dumbest thing ever with how wide the hash marks are. It's terrible for kicking. It's terrible for offense and defense. Well, I guess it's great for offense. It makes it easier to score, but it's terrible for defense.
And spot the ball.
Yeah, and spotting the ball and all that. But like you've got to kick that ball inbounds to make them take some time. Because they started on the 25. I think they ran the worst play of all time on first down, and they didn't even get any yards. But then they had like a busted play, and they got a bunch of yards on second down. And then they ran 1 5-yard out route, and then they're in field goal range already. Like, it was terrible. Like, you got to
they get the ball. They get the ball to 25. That's a decent return.
Yeah.
If you kick a squib kick, it takes forever to get down the field. The guy picks it up, and hopefully you're tackling him around the 20, maybe the 17, 16.
Yeah.
And then you also wasted about 5 seconds. So
and I was going to say, 8 seconds has come off the clock. You're golden.
With 21 seconds on average, if you're getting out of bounds or first downs, you get 4 plays. If you kick it inbounds, you limit them to 3 plays. Like, it's just, that was terrible. I also don't think that Texas had any timeouts at that point in time, and they got into field goal range. And the legend,
they didn't have any. They didn't have
the legend Bert Auburn made it, and then we'll talk about Bijan's fumble in just a second because we're gonna get to that.
That lost him the Heisman.
The other same game in overtime. So in overtime, Texas Tech got the ball to like the 4-yard line, and it's 3rd and goal. And they tried to score a touchdown when all they needed was a field goal to win. And they kicked on 4th down. And like, if they would have lost that game because they like mishandled a snap.
Yeah. You gotta kick it on 3rd down.
You gotta kick it on 3rd or 2nd or 1st. I mean, they got like 1st and goal on like the 4-yard line, and they went for it 3 times to score a touchdown. It was
plus if you're running back like Bijan did, if he fumbles, you feel like a total idiot. Just kick it to win it.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to do anyways.
Then I don't know.
Play to win the game.
Play to win the game. The other big coaching malpractice that I saw this weekend actually was in professional football. I don't know if it is Bowles' fault, Leftwich's fault, or Tom Brady, but this is the second week in a row in professional football that there has been a game-tying 2-point conversion that a team has taken a delay of game on. Cliff Kingsbury did it against the Raiders, and now the Bucs did it against the Packers. And
that's not even coaching malpractice. That's just Brady.
Yeah, I'm yes and no. I will say
you got to get your guys to the line.
You got to get them lined up, and he was trying to get all the protections and all those things. Against the Raiders, it didn't matter because the Raiders are technically the worst football team in the NFL right now. And against the Packers, who have a good defense, it mattered. I mean,
you got.
I forget the linebackers made. He made a great play on the ball, but I mean,
and as A&M, the thing is, as A&M fans, we can speak on this because we love getting delay of games after dead balls, timeouts, half times, kickoffs, whatever. You got to get your team to the line. I'm sorry.
And on a 2-point conversion,
what play you're running?
What play you're running. The field is so small. Like, how much protection and coverage can you really debate? Like, we're going to run this play, and we're going to make it work. That's just what we do.
I heard a guy speaking on it this week, and he said, like, literally, you have a play that you practice all week. That's your 2-point play. If you get in a 2-point conversion situation, that's the play. So you already know what you're running.
Have y'all heard the audio from it? Like, so the play that got called, whatever, like they threw the flag. They were running a run play because Tom Brady saw the coverage and saw there was a light box, and he tried to audible to a run play with Leonard Fournette, and he probably would have got it, but they didn't get it off in time. So it's like
he was wide open to the end zone.
Yeah, it was wide open, but like, I'm sorry, man. You get 25 seconds. Like, you just got to run. You got to run the play that's called. I honestly think Tom Brady is so good at QB sneaking that you put him under center and you QB sneak from the.
He'll get 2 yards.
I think
I don't understand why they don't do it anymore. Like, they've really cut back on him doing that.
Well, he looks like he's blow away in the wind these days.
Yeah, he's 40, but he's 45. There's actually a lot of teams. I watch a lot of professional football and significantly less college football. A lot of teams are afraid to quarterback sneak, and it blows my mind.
Well, just don't do it. Don't do it like Arkansas did it.
Good at.
Don't do it like Arkansas did it, where you jump from the 4-yard line and reach the ball at the 4-yard line as if your arms are 4 yards long.
Or
if you're playing the Aggies, go ahead and do that.
Please do that if you're playing A&M.
Please do it.
He jumped from the 4-yard line.
Hey, don't get ahead of us. We're going to talk about that later because that might have been the best play that Texas A&M has ever had. I was so pumped. All right.
Best play of the year for sure.
There's one play better.
That's true. On the topic of coaching malpractice, while we're on it, let's get through the misery part. Andy Reid decided to fake a field goal on 4th and 10, and it was awful. And he crushed his backup kicker because Harrison Butker, the second best kicker in football, is currently injured. That's why the Chiefs lost a football game. So he fakes a field goal.
How much longer is he out?
I don't know. But he faked a 34-yard field goal. It would have been 34-yard field goal. Faked it on 4th and 10. The play was awful. And then when it mattered most, Matt Amendola needed to kick a 42-yard field goal, but he had no confidence because Andy Reid told him, like, hey, I have no faith in you. And then he missed.
Sounds about right.
That's what happened. Also, we can't mention coaching malpractice without mentioning Big Mike McCarthy. I don't know anything specific that he did, but I'm sure there were plenty of moments from that horror show.
He sucks.
It was so bad. The Giants-Cowboys game was awful.
I'm sure he would call a timeout in some dumb situation, or he didn't call a timeout in some situation where he should have. But I can't remember what happened. I thought I remember something happening.
I remember something happening, and I can't remember it either. But I remember looking at Aunt Laura and going, "This is why I love Mike McCarthy. This is why I love him."
Because he's dumb.
So
yeah, I will say
he's a placeholder. Sean Payton will be there sooner or later. It's gonna.
I will say this though, my guy Kellen Moore. I think it was 3rd and 12 in the 4th quarter.
The pitch play.
And he called a pitch play. Unbelievable.
He called a pitch play. He called a pitch play directly from an outside blitz, and they just shoved everyone inside.
Oh, it was beautiful.
But it was beautiful. Kellen Moore is still a bad coach.
That one play redeemed it all for me, so I'm good.
Great play, bad coach.
Cooper Rush is 3-0. People are saying, should the Cowboys make him the highest paid quarterback in the league?
Yep, QB controversy.
3-0.
Jerry Jones would say, if he can win football games, I'll ride with him.
I'm excited to bring Lombardi back to Dallas.
I was really excited. There was a moment in the 4th quarter where it was still tied, and the Giants were moving the ball down the field. They were on like the Cowboys 45 or 42-yard line, and it was like 3rd and long. And maybe it might have been, I don't know. It might have been at going into halftime. I can't remember exactly. But it was like 3rd and long, and there was like 14 seconds left or something crazy like that. And the middle of the field was wide open, and the Giants had a timeout. And I was like, oh my gosh, they could run the Dallas Cowboys QB draw up the middle for like 30 yards. But they could call a timeout, and it would be so ironic that they actually executed properly because they had a timeout, and then they didn't do it. And I was like, all right, whatever. And they didn't get it, and they scored 0 points because the Giants.
So I have a question about the whole Cooper Rush situation.
He's not very good.
MVP, baby.
No.
MVP.
But if he goes out and leads this team to wins every game he plays in.
Nope.
You don't think so?
Dak gets paid too much. Can't sit on the bench.
No. That's what I'm saying. Is what's it take to say
he has no chance? Right. He's playing for a job elsewhere potentially.
Dak, here's what it takes. Dak has a setback with his injury and doesn't come back till week 12, and the Cowboys are undefeated. That's what he needs.
I don't think undefeated is fair. I think if he loses 1 or 2, maybe 3 games, you have to have a conversation.
If the Cowboys are 10-2 in week 2,
you have to have a conversation.
Jarrah will not let that happen.
Oh, Shane's shitty Wi-Fi.
Yep, there we go. Come on, Aunt Laura, get your Wi-Fi figured out over there.
Starlink.
This is what we call the Shane's shitty Wi-Fi segment.
Hey, while we're transitioning segments, let's move it on. I want to have a conversation about the Heisman trophy. So we mentioned it earlier, and we talked about Bijan's fumble and the loss of the Heisman. In my opinion, obviously he did not stand a chance at winning the Heisman because he does not play quarterback on the best football team in college football. But I think that is now the only chance that you have of winning a Heisman. When was the last player for everyone that was like an electric player that just could do it all? That's my version of the Heisman. I'm thinking of watching Reggie Bush. Barry Sanders.
Monte Smith, bro.
I mean, I don't know.
Desmond Howard.
I mean, sure. Lamar Jackson, Johnny Manziel. Like these guys, not only were like they great players in college football, but they made ridiculous plays that no one else could make. And I feel like the Heisman Trophy has been diluted in the past 5 years. So like going into the season, for example, the Stroud was the number one favorite. Then Bryce Young. And then I think Bijan started as number 3. Here we go. Trivia fact of the day.
I was rooting for Bijan as an Aggie fan. I wanted him to win it just because I'm tired of the quarterback.
Time out. Just tweeted on Fox News. Tom Brady and Giselle have grown apart after spending most of the moment. I gotta open the rest of it.
They lived apart the whole summer.
This is breaking news. Hey, this is
breaking news. I read this 2 hours ago.
You'll hear it here first.
Giselle have grown apart after spending most of the summer living separately. Dude,
it's over.
Dude, it's over.
So does he get child support?
Yeah, he should.
She's worth way more money than he is.
I'm so afraid for every team that has to play Tom Brady now that this is public. Like
breaking news.
Also, poor Microsoft Surfaces they're gonna have to make like 1,000 of them for the Bucks because their offense sucks. And
they need a better case on those things.
So what celebrity gets Tom Brady now? Like he can do whatever he wants.
He's gonna marry a school teacher.
Breaking news.
He's definitely not marrying a supermodel. I can tell you that. No, he's gonna go hook up with Kim Kardashian. They're both made of plastic. Like that's what they are.
He's gonna pull Michael Jordan. He's gonna marry a much younger woman and have twins with her.
Now we just had breaking news segment.
Yeah, I just broke the news, baby.
That was good.
Broke big news.
All right, whoa. Jonathan is also our version of Adam Schefter.
I'm out here breaking news, baby.
Because he breaks news, and he's also a scumbag, just like Adam Schefter.
Oh, okay.
All right. Hey, while we were before the breaking news happened, we were talking about the Heisman Trophy. So I just kind of wanted to, what are y'all's expectations from a Heisman Trophy winner?
So I honestly think that the Heisman, like you were kind of saying, has totally lost its purpose. Like if you look at last year, right? Bryce Young was a good player. But the sad part is he wasn't even the best player on his own team.
No.
Will Anderson was the best player on that team. Dude, I'm not talking about this year because the dude can't line up on sides.
Or Mechie or Jameson Williams. Like Bryce Young was just throwing to dudes who were wide open on every play. Same with Tua back in college. So, I mean, it's just.
I think it should like literally look at it objectively and be like, are they the best player? A guy that plays at Louisville, for instance, Lamar Jackson for that matter.
Yeah.
He's going to go 8-4 because he plays at Louisville. But was he the best player on the field that year? I don't know if he was, but he was up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I gotta go with that. Who's the number one draft pick is kind of where you're going.
That's what it's turned into. It's turned into, who's Alabama's quarterback? Who's Clemson's quarterback? Who's Ohio State's quarterback? Pick one of the three.
Or like this year, it might be Georgia's quarterback, but Stetson Bennett is not the best player on their team.
No.
Quinn Ewers was getting Heisman odds, and he hadn't even played a snap.
Yep.
This is biased just because I follow Coach Prime on social media, but his son is, yes, he's playing HB, but he's balling. He is absolutely balling.
I'm sorry, you can't.
No, but
you can't go there.
You should be playing FBS football.
I want the best FBS, the most exciting FBS players who I'm looking for to win the Heisman Trophy.
So, I agree, but I'm so tired of it just being who's the quarterback of Clemson, Alabama, Georgia. Let's spread it around.
Or I'll take if you want to do the best player on the best team, that's fine. the best player on the best team isn't the quarterback. Who's the best player on Georgia right now? Or the most exciting player on Georgia's football team?
Name any defensive lineman on the field.
No, it's their tight end.
Oh, the tight end is a beast.
Bowers is a monster. He does everything for that football team. He blocks well. He catches well. He runs with the ball well. He's their offense. He's like what leads their offense. And he's going to get 0 votes. And I think he's he's way more important than Stetson Bennett is.
Yeah, Stetson's going to be in New York. But we've totally lost touch with the whole point of the award. It's literally before the season starts, we're putting guys we're ranking guys. Not that this matters in the end, but we're ranking guys, potential Heisman winners, and it's guys that have never even played a snap in college football.
Yeah. So
what have they done?
And so
if we want to minimize the Heisman, that's fine. Get rid of the Heisman if that's what they want to do, but don't make it just a quarterback position.
You can't get rid of the Heisman.
You don't get
no, I agree.
You just specify hey, it's a quarterback favored.
But they already had that the Davey O'Brien Award.
They already.
That's what I'm saying.
They have all the position.
That's frustrating.
I think they need to change the definition of Heisman. So
agreed.
Heisman.
I think they need to change the way they vote for it.
No, Heisman. I think they describe it as the best player in college football, and I think a lot of the voters think that the most important position in football or all of sports is quarterback, which I agree with. The most important position in all of sports is quarterback. They do the most. However,
that doesn't mean you're the best player.
Just because you're the best quarterback on the best team does not mean that you are the best player. Like the team that wins the most games typically is not just because they have the best quarterback. Tom Brady has the most rings out of any player in football because, yes, he's an incredible quarterback. He has also had one of the best coaches and one of the best teams most of his years in playing football. So I think that it's the
best quarterback.
Yes, that's what I said. He's the best quarterback, but that doesn't mean
he's the best player.
He has won a Super Bowl by only scoring 17 points. That's not that's a team performance there.
It's football is not like basketball. You cannot rely on one person to do
one superstar cannot win you the championship, which I agree. So I think so they have the best position awards for every position. I think they need to change the Heisman not to the best player. I like to think of it as the most electric player. I like the Lamar Jacksons, the Barry Sanders, the Johnny Manziels. They were the same
argument with the MVP. It's the same argument. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Same.
It's
most valuable. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's just I want who's the most fun person to watch in college football is what I want the Heisman to be. And that could be the quarterback from Middle Tennessee State for all I care. I want to see, I'd rather it be from a Power 5 school, in my opinion.
Kansas State, Martinez, dude. His Heisman was up this week.
Martinez was exciting to watch, and if he can keep it up,
Kansas quarterback.
Kansas quarterback is great,
but he has no shot because he plays at Kansas.
Deuce Vaughn from freaking K-State is a monster.
The Big 12, he has a shot.
No, he didn't. No, because he plays at Kansas.
Doesn't. No, he has 0.
And he has 0 shot is what Shane was trying to say. But
great internet.
So yeah, the Heisman is just here we go. Soccer translation. It's like the best player in soccer award is now just a popularity contest, and it's dumb. And
between Ronaldo and
Messi every time. Now I will tell
Neymar.
you, Messi is probably the best player that's ever played, but is he the best player that year? Possibly not.
Chicharito?
And then they don't. No, but
or the best at paying his taxes.
It's so diluted and it's terrible.
Lewandowski.
It's Ronaldo every day, baby.
I'm a big Lewandowski guy.
All right, hey, let's keep it moving. We're gonna skip those 2 topics because we're running long right now. Let's go to the other topic of debate that we need to talk about.
What's new?
Let's talk about Buffalo versus Miami. 2 of possibly the best teams in the NFL squared off this weekend. Number 1, the NFL is getting sued already from the NFLPA.
Oh yeah.
Tua got that dog on it in him. He got that dog.
Tua got ragdolled, and he was he came in so quick.
Tua did what I've been saying every player in the NFL should be doing.
I trust the doctors. It was a back problem.
It was back problem.
Tua looked like a baby giraffe taking his first steps.
Back problems always do that to you. They make you just crumble under your own weight.
What about the shaking of the head?
Oh, it was back. He was wondering why his back got so
he was wondering why his eyes were rolled back in his head.
Dang, my back.
And I know we have thousands of listeners that don't know us personally, and it's not just our family that listens to this. But Blake is a medical professional, so he knows.
Oh yeah,
he's a medical professional. Doctor.
He knows.
Hey, if Tua was an amputee after that hit, I would have been like, I will fit you up.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to
all your amputee needs. Call Blake Chkowski.
We're gonna
Shamrock Prosthetics. Free plug to Shamrock Prosthetics.
Shamrock Prosthetics. There you go. Hey, if you would like to sponsor the program, please do. Contact at fikpodcast@gmail.com.
Or just talk to Blake at work.
Or talk to Blake at work. That's fine too. So the crazy stat that came from this game is that Buffalo does not win close football games. They are 0-8 in their last 8 games, decided by one score. They either blow a team out or they lose because they find ways to lose even when there's a butt punt in their game. But also, we talked about this beforehand,
legit,
and we're ready to go on whether Miami is legit or not. So here we go. Let's get first. Who's on team Miami is a legitimate contender?
Give me Miami. Give me
Fantastic.
Miami.
And who is not on Miami? And that would be this guy right here.
Tyreek left y'all, and now you just can't face the facts.
No.
He's that good.
I will openly say Tyreek is the most important wide receiver in the NFL. He's not the best. He's not the best, but he's the one that defensive coordinators have to spend the most time on game planning around.
That's why Jalen Waddle's having a great fucking year.
If you don't believe me, go talk to his last name is O'Connell. I don't know his first name. The defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, who decided we don't need deep safeties against the Miami Dolphins, and Tyreek Hill for like the 18th game in a row just torched the Ravens because they suck because they run the same defense no matter what. But Miami is not legitimate if you don't turn the ball over on your own, inside your own 10-yard line. Let's talk about some games here against the Buffalo Bills, which I will admit, probably the best team in the NFL when healthy. They beat Buffalo when Buffalo had 0 of their starting secondary playing, but that's fine. And also, how many points did they score? 21. They scored 21 points. One of those drives, they started inside the 10-yard line. They started on the 4-yard line.
They held Buffalo. They held Buffalo to 17.
They're 19, but fumble.
Oh, they gave 2 of them.
That's fine. Their defense is legitimate. Their offense is not. And I think that
I disagree.
There are so. What do you mean, Blake?
I'm not saying they're the best offense in the league.
I'm going to.
They've won multiple different ways. They've played from behind. They've played close games. I mean, they've done in 3 weeks. They've shown about as much as you can show.
All right.
I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl.
In 2 of their 3 games against the New England Patriots, how many points did their offense score?
9 points.
13. Against the Buffalo Bills, their offense technically scored 21, but one of those drives started on the 4-yard line. So that's a
21. That's good.
That's defense giving you 7. They scored 14.
That's fine.
They struggle to consistently score points. If a team doesn't turn the ball over in their own territory, the Dolphins will not score enough points for the AFC, is my point.
Now, don't get me
You're
wrong.
Eliminating the second game. You're eliminating the second game.
The Dolphins are not going to
win the Baltimore Ravens. What was the score at halftime before the Ravens decided, like, hey, we're playing Tyreek Hill?
What was it, 28-7?
I think it was 28-3. Or 20, it might be 28-7.
What did it end up as? 38,
no.
35?
They scored a lot of points there. There's no other team in the NFL that's going to be so stupid as the Baltimore Ravens to play.
Agreed.
To play 0 coverage on Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
They're not going to win. They're not going to
there.
win a pissing match with the Chiefs or the Bills on a regular Sunday or any other high-powered offense. I agree. They're not going to win a pissing match.
But they don't have to.
No, that's what I'm saying. They
do. In the playoffs, you get one chance. In the playoffs, you get one chance. If you look at the game against the Bills, I understand that they won that football game. If you play that game 90 or 100 times, they win one of those 100 times. Did you look at the stats from that game? Any other Sunday, I know that the phrase of the NFL is any given Sunday. If you play that game 100 times, they might win one. And this was the one.
I was going to say,
what is legit?
They ran 25 offensive plays that game, and the Bills ran 40 or something.
Legit.
It was like 60
the Bills ran 90 plays. The Dolphins ran 38.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is insane.
The Bills had the ball.
Still outscored them.
The Bills had the ball for 41 minutes. They had the ball for 19. They outscored them
to win the game.
No, they won the game. They won the game this one time. If they did it 99 more times, they would have lost every single one of them.
I call that efficiency.
I agree because I don't think they win a pissing match with any team. But also I do think when your coach is strutting the sideline looking like he's going to snort some good old
Canadian, that's a Pat
Colombian
Bam. That's a Pat McAfee take. That's not a real take.
No, that dude is legit. He's got the gold Ray-Bans on, the gold Rolex. That dude is my spirit animal. That guy.
He's bizarre. He's bizarre.
That dude.
I think he's for real though. I think he's just crazy enough that this is gonna work.
Yes, I think so too.
Dude. It's gonna work.
What do you count working?
Winning a playoff game for the Dolphins is working. That's my working.
That's nothing. They were a playoff team last year. Like they're a good football team already, and they sold out. This is the year. Like if you look at the Miami Dolphins offseason, this is the 1 year. This is their window for winning a Super Bowl. And I can guarantee that the Miami Dolphins do not win the Super Bowl.
No, they're not winning the Super Bowl, but I love that coach.
Exactly.
I love that dude.
I think they could win.
Did you just say do you think they do?
No, I don't think they'll win the Super Bowl, but I think they have potential to win two playoff games.
I'm with Blake on that.
They will not even win their division. They will not win.
I agree they won't win their division, but they also potentially have the best team in the NFL in the division.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone's talking about is the Miami the best team in the NFL because they beat.
But I think they could very easily be in a wild card game and win a wild card game. And
I think
win
that
the next game too.
Also, we have one thing to consider. I know that Tua did get injured, but we're gonna assume that Tua is fine and he's gonna clear concussion protocol.
Also, Austin, you have to recognize your personal bias. You're talking to a bunch of losers. I'm a Cowboys fan. Shane's a Saints fan. Jonathan's a Raiders fan.
The Cowboys went 12 and
legit is like we might win a playoff game. That's legit.
The Cowboys went 12-5,
and they didn't win a playoff game.
Well, I mean, you have Mike
McCarthy. A bunch of losers.
Shane's team has won
perennial losers.
Shane's team has won the Super Bowl in the last 10 years. I mean, that's not.
And he's been a perennial loser.
Oh, has it been since 2007? I really thought it was
15 years ago.
That's like
we're perennial
we
losers.
went to the Super Bowl in the last couple of years. That was 2002.
No. I know the Raiders haven't won the Super Bowl in a long time. I really thought
I've seen the Cowboys win one playoff game that I can remember.
Yeah, but they always have to play Aaron Rodgers, so I mean that makes sense.
I just think playoff game.
I think that the AFC.
You need to give credit, Austin. You got to give credit to Mike McDaniels.
Blake, what year?
I think they beat. When's the last time they won a playoff game?
Won one.
I know he dropped the ball to win one against Seattle.
Tony Romo never won one.
Dak has won one.
Dak won one. His
Dak did win one.
His rookie season.
Yeah.
2 years back.
One. So I can remember one playoff game of my lifetime.
I think they've won more than just one, but
no, I don't think they have.
It's possible.
Since the 90s, I don't think they have.
All right. Hey, while we're on that, I do not have to give any credit to Mike McDaniels, the offensive guru who in multiple games has scored who has scored 14 points or less.
And he's won 2 out of 3.
He's won all. I mean, yeah.
I'm a big McDaniels guy. That dude is hilarious. He deserves to win everything.
One of those games was against the New England Patriots, who have the second to worst offense in the AFC. Behind the Pittsburgh Steelers are the worst offense in the AFC. The Jets have a better offense than the New England Patriots.
So the Cowboys have won 3 playoff games in my lifetime, and they were all wild card games.
I mean, yeah,
when
have not won a
2?
divisional game.
They
What
haven't
year?
made the divisional round since 98.
They won one in 2015
That was
and
Dak's,
2018.
No, they won
Does
one with
Dak
Tony
win 2?
Romo. They won one with Tony Romo because Dak
Tony
Prescott
won
has
in
not been in the
2009.
league from 2015.
I thought that
Tony
was the thing.
won one in 2009 too, apparently.
Oh, I thought that was the thing that Tony Romo had never won a playoff game.
I knew he had won one.
No, he just choked.
Didn't he beat the
a
Packers?
lot of playoff games.
No, he never beat the Packers.
That
Beat
throw,
Philly and Detroit.
That throw that Aaron Rodgers made to Jared Cook
He
on the
beat
sideline, that
Philly
was
and
like 40
Detroit.
yards, is beautiful. It might have been the best throw.
I'm currently watching the Tony Romo Football is Life.
I'm telling you, this is
football
not a
football something.
This is not a McAfee take. That dude is the most legit coach. If he would come coach the Saints, I will freaking die.
He's not the most legit coach.
I want him to just put a camera on him. Just put a camera on him during the game.
Hard Knocks in Miami is what we need.
Oh,
we need
who are we getting?
Miami.
Who are we getting as the Hard Knocks team in the middle of the season? Dude, the Cardinals that might be electric, dude. Like,
yeah, because Cliff Kingsbury going to be fired.
Yeah, it's been.
Has it not started? Has it not started?
No, that's till November.
They've been taping it, but like they're not going to.
Hopkins comes back and we get to see all that. That's great.
Oh, I'm so excited to bet the Cardinals once Hopkins comes back because like the Cardinals suck without him, but once he comes back, like the Cardinals will be a force to be reckoned with. I feel bad for every team that play, like whoever plays them week 7, I feel awful for because they will be a whole new football
whole different team. Yeah. Totally changed the field right there.
Hey,
I'm still betting against the Cardinals.
While we're on the topic of betting, let's keep it moving.
Don't take my pick.
There has been significant line movement in the NFL since opening on Sunday/Monday morning. There was 5 that I saw that were significant. The first one is that Cincinnati, who is playing, I had all the games pulled up and then I clicked away from it because I wanted to talk about the Bills and the Dolphins and I was looking at all the stats and They're playing the Dolphins on Thursday Night Football. It's even moved since then. Cincinnati opened as 1.5-point favorites over the Dolphins in Cincinnati. They are now 4-point favorites. Does that mean Tua's not playing?
Who are they playing?
Cincinnati's playing Miami
on Thursday night.
And it was 1.5, and now
it is a short week.
It's a short week. Cincinnati is now favored by 4 instead of 1.5.
Tua's played.
Dude, the Dolphins are 3-0. How are they not favored?
That's one of those lines where Vegas knows something that none of us know.
Vegas knows something that the rest of us don't know.
Do not bet that one.
My thought process is that Tua doesn't start that game.
It's on Shane's list for this week, so I wouldn't.
Well, the other option is you have to bet with Cincinnati.
I don't know if it is. I'm just joking.
No.
You have to bet with Cincinnati just because it makes no sense. That's the only other option.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like
it makes no sense.
We've talked about already that the defense of the Dolphins is the strength of that team. They will destroy Joe Burrow. Like they will.
I think so too.
Dude, if Joe Burrow makes it, if he starts all 17 games this year, he should win MVP just for that.
If his career lasts more than 6 years, then I'll be shocked.
I think my favorite comment is this offseason when they got that offensive lineman, and he said, your new bodyguard.
Oh, it's Lyle Collins from the Cowboys. Yeah, your new bodyguard is
terrible.
here. And then Micah Parsons just destroyed him.
Oh.
Hey, speaking of Micah Parsons and the Cowboys had significant movement on their line from when they opened as well. They got the hook. They went from 2.5 to 3.5. So the question is, so last week they're playing the Washington Commodores this week, which I think we could come up with a new name for the Commanders every week. I like Commodores this week. We've already done.
I like commies.
We've done commies. We can keep it going. the other fun fact that I like from this week is that Carson Wentz got sacked on 5 of his first 8 dropbacks this week.
That's insane.
So
That's
their O-line is terrible. The Cowboys might beat the Commodores by 40 points.
He almost came up with another name.
Yeah, but because the Cowboys beat the Giants last night, that they got the hook. So now you have to bet with 3.5 instead of 2.5, which is a bummer.
That's a big number too. That's a big
number.
And especially it's in Washington, isn't it?
Yeah,
divisional game.
No, it's in Dallas.
Oh, it's in Dallas. Okay,
it's in Dallas. So I really like that game this week, even with a 3.5. I booked it at 2.5 when I saw the Washington Commodores stat about the 5 sacks in 8 games, because Micah barely played last night because he was sick, and
they were still on their faces.
The Cowboys' defensive line was still incredible. So I think that they will just destroy. And Carson Wentz he's just bad.
Is he okay?
Yeah.
That's my question. As a guy that can evaluate NFL football better than me, Austin, is he bad or unlucky? I know he's bad, but is he more bad than unlucky or more unlucky than bad?
He is the 20th best quarterback in the NFL. So he's slightly below average if you count.
He's he's made a huge mistake in his career because like Chase Daniel, right? Chase Daniel will always be able to say, like, you don't know what could have been. Carson Wentz, we know exactly what it was. He will never have a backup. He'll never be a backup quarterback because we know he can't play. He'll be out of the league in 2 years.
No, he can play. He just always purposefully signs for the crappy team for the most money. That's what he does.
And he does stupid stuff.
He's trying to take the most money, and he keeps signing for terrible teams. This is what he does. I mean, Carson Wentz's biggest
from a
problem,
money management standpoint, that's smart. I mean,
but Carson Wentz does not protect the football, and that's your
he doesn't know how to throw
job.
an underneath route. He doesn't know how to throw an underneath route. He's always he like looks at the scoreboard and he's like, oh, 0-0. I'm on my own 1 yard line. It's about to be 7-0, and he's launching that sucker deep from the 1 yard line every single play.
And if there's pressure in his face, he will not throw the ball away. He will,
or he'll throw it behind his back or something.
Yeah, he'll do. So he's like, he's not a smart quarterback. He's got all the measurables. He's got the arm talent. I mean, you watch the one game that Washington won, the big comeback. Some of those throws that he made in the second half to come back in that game were just, incredible. I mean, he's got talent. He's
missing it between the head.
He's missing it between the ears, and he doesn't understand that the quarterback's actual number one job is protect the football. Look at Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers,
they don't throw interceptions.
Aaron Rodgers is going to have the longest career with the least amount of interceptions. It's nuts. He throws like 3 picks a year, and they're all in the first week of the season.
The ball at the ground. It said force.
Hey,
oh great.
Hey, and for the last 5 seasons, he's had the number 1 seed in the NFC. He gets it up.
He's a genius. It's smart.
Also,
I wish my quarterback would just throw the ball at the ground and say, "Let's live."
Well, Jameis is Carson on steroids.
Jameis also does. Jameis doesn't have the arm talent, and he also doesn't have the brain. That's Jameis's problem.
He's an idiot.
But he's hilarious.
Oh, he's so fun to watch.
Jameis is too worried about doing what to the what in the
eating dubs.
Hey,
were you gonna say eating dubs in that sentence, or what are you gonna say?
I was gonna say eating dubs.
The biggest line movement of the week is the Lions have dropped by 2 points, and I don't know what happened. So the Lions,
that's why I'm taking that one.
The Lions are playing the Seahawks in Detroit. The Lions are at home. At home, they opened as 6.5 point favorites, and they have dropped to 4.5.
Yep, that's exactly why I took it, because Seattle's offense is awful. God,
Seattle's offense is hit or miss. Sometimes painful. All of a sudden Geno looks good, but also Detroit's defense is terrible. This is an over game if I've ever seen it.
Well, Detroit will score.
I was going to say,
that's the thing.
Because Seattle's defense is number 32 in the league in my book, and Detroit is number 31. So Geno doesn't even have to be good. If Geno scores 17 points, this game is hitting the over for sure.
I like the Dan Campbell difference for sure in this one.
I do, but that's what scares me is why do they drop by 2 points? Because I figured everyone would take Detroit.
6.5 is a lot. Everyone's assuming that Detroit's just going to play everyone at the 3 points one way or the other.
I mean, Detroit, did you see how they played when they were favorites? They dominated, and I think they'll do it again. I think they're just so not used to being favorites that they love it.
They played great. They honestly played great this week until Kirk Cousins happened.
Yeah.
They're the third highest scoring offense in the league right now.
Yep. I think Detroit minus 4.5. Unless there's a big injury that we're missing out, I think that's a great take for the week. The Browns dropped from -3 to -1.5 based off of Myles Garrett. So that was a big thing that I thought.
Golly, Myles Garrett is worth a 1.5.
A defensive player being worth 1.5 was a big deal, which is why I brought that up. And Vegas, the 0-3 Las Vegas Raiders went from -1 to -2.5 over whoever the heck they're playing this week. Who cares? The Broncos.
Yep. Jonathan, how's the win column feeling? How's it feeling over there?
That's a poison line right there. That's a reactionary line for sure because the Broncos offense has been so bad.
Russell Wilson, Nathaniel Hackett's not going to make it to the season. Russell Wilson looks terrible.
He looks bad. He's dead. It's over.
No, take the Broncos.
Let's ride.
Take the Broncos. Ride. I'm taking the Broncos over the 0-3 Raiders, and that's
but I don't know.
As well.
Raiders are getting first win.
That's another line that you have to be like, this makes no sense. So I'm taking the Raiders.
Raiders are getting their first win. We're turning it around this week.
Do Hackett or Wilson make it through this after this year? Because right now,
y'all saw Hackett hired a guy just to assist him in decision making.
Yeah,
but
come on, that dude's losing it. Oh, speaking of the devil.
Tom Brady's got a new wife.
We got our boy Mike McGinn.
Oh, I love that
guy. Tua says he's not dealing with any head injury.
Yeah, it's back
amen.
Injury.
That's because Mike McDaniels took him to the old downtown Miami, gave him some of that Colombian bam bam, and said, "You're good to go."
Good to go. That's great. I got some takes.
All right, here we go. We're gonna keep it going. So yeah, that was all that. All right, we're finally to the main event. So we tried to keep it as diversified as possible for the beginning because we know, based off of our YouTube analytics, that the retention time is not great. But now is the time for all of our fans of Old Rock, the good Ag, who is just dominating another top 15 team as they beat Arkansas in Jerry World because they played with professional goalpost instead of college goalpost, and I love it.
Hey, that's Arkansas's fault. Jerry Jones, that's his fault.
That's his fault. Also, it shouldn't matter.
It wouldn't count anyways, right?
Well, I mean, it would because referees are terrible. We talked about that last week, that referees are all awful. Patrick Mahomes threw a pass while his face mask was being ripped the other direction. He's probably one of the best quarterbacks in football. Still doesn't get superstar treatment. So don't trust referees ever is the point of that. And that is, yeah. So
still sore about that last.
But if it goes directly over the goalpost, it should not count.
The referees are supposed to say no, it should not have gone in.
That's why they stand directly under the goalpost.
Yeah.
That was my question. What is the ruling on?
But you have to trust, because you're not going to have any video review on that. You have to trust that the referees call it correctly.
You have to trust the referees call it correctly, and their job is to look straight up. And if it was going to hit the goalpost, they're supposed to say no.
No.
So he was just so unlucky that he was so unlucky that he literally hit the top of the goalpost.
Correct. If they were playing in Kyle Field or whatever the Fayetteville's stadium is in Fayetteville, if it would have went over the goalpost, I guarantee you the refs would have called it good.
And if on that play, I think if it had bounced over, I think they would have called it good. But the lucky part is that it didn't. No, it doesn't. If it's over like that, it does not count, even if it bounces in. They're not supposed to. Will it count? I guarantee the ref would give it to him.
I thought no matter what, if it goes through, if it goes inside the 2 goalposts over the line, it's in.
I listened to a referee guy this weekend on one of the podcasts, and he said that if it bounces on the top, it is dead right there.
No matter what. All right.
No matter what.
All right, so that was interesting.
Yeah, because that makes sense. Because the ball couldn't, if the goalpost kept going up, it would stop.
It's like a plane. It's like a vertical plane.
Correct. All right. But A&M, not the most impressive game, but you know what? A win is a win is a win, is what they say. Against a top 10 football team in the SEC West, starting the SEC West off with a win. This is the most positive you're going to hear me probably all season.
Defense looked great again.
Great again. Offense looked absolutely miserable again.
Offense looked okay.
Against one of the worst secondaries that they'll play all year, and we still look terrible.
The one thing I'll say is that Max Johnson does not throw interceptions. Max Johnson does not throw interceptions like Haynes King.
That's true.
The ball.
We already talked about protect the football.
Blake, we talked about how we wanted a Stetson Bennett type. He's not Stetson Bennett. I don't agree with that, but he does not turn over the ball.
Just don't turn the ball over.
Yes, he makes the reads. He throws the balls. Yes, just make the read and throw it.
I don't
care. Deny us out. It's gonna be
I
hard.
was yelling. I had a couple beers that night, and I was literally yelling when I saw him on the ground. I said, "Please take my leg. Take my leg before you take an."
And done for the year. Yes, the news came out.
Blake took a step to the bathroom and tore his ACL.
Ooh, wait, hey!
I was hoping that was going to happen, and then Ice was going to jump up.
Hey, Blake!
I don't need my leg.
Can we get him fitted with a prosthetic?
I'll get him one of them bad boys.
Can we get him fitted with a prosthetic? Like, let's get it going.
If surgery goes wrong, Lord willing, it does not. I'll get him a prosthetic leg.
But NIL, he's got an NIL deal with what prosthetic company?
Shamrock Prosthetics.
Shamrock.
Okay, we got him.
Appreciate
I need to wear merch. I'll wear merch in the next one.
There we go. It was I think we need to talk about possibly the best play in a long time, which came on the KJ Jefferson. I'm going to try to Marcus Allen from the 4-yard line. Fail miserably, hit off an Arkansas lineman's helmet. Chappell? How do you say his name? I don't know.
I always said Chappell.
Chappell gets it.
He's a Louisiana native.
Yeah, okay. Chappell gets it, makes a great play after he's getting tackled and throws it to Richardson, ran it in.
Yeah,
maybe?
DeMar Richardson. Yeah, it was Richardson.
And it was great. It was so fun. I was just like,
He didn't throw it. He
hands it to him.
Handed it off.
He stole the ball.
Or Richardson, Devontae might have just grabbed it from him.
No.
He did not Reggie Bush this shit and try to pitch it backwards and fumble. So that's all that matters.
Chappell definitely opens his hands. Like, I think Damari initiates it, and then Chappell's like, yeah, definitely take it. This is smart.
It was the smartest play because if you think about it, when you have a turnover like that, you're racing against wide receivers who are already down the field potentially. Yeah. I know he's on the 2-yard line, but still. Plus a bunch of offensive linemen that are not getting to him.
Yeah. No, if you watch the play back,
there's 6 Aggies. And
there's 6 Aggies, but the problem is that the guy with the ball is ahead of all of the Aggies. And then the running back is who catches him. And then once he hands it off, there's nobody. There's no Razorback in the field of play. Eventually one of the wide receivers gets into the field of vision, but he didn't.
There were so many Razorback fans that were saying like, oh, we gave him that game and all this stuff. And I'm like, your mistake, like we took advantage of y'all's mistakes. They just happened to be dumber mistakes than we made that night.
Yep.
It was
Arkansas is actually not that good though.
Arkansas started way better than we did, for sure.
Agreed.
Our offense,
we do that every day.
I mean, our offense we are the Miami Dolphins. Our offense is unimpressive, but our defense keeps us in games and we will make plays.
I think that's giving us a little too much credit.
I was going to say, our coach is not as cool.
Well, okay, our coach is definitely
Jimbo's
less
a cool
cool.
fucking dude, bro. His
He's not
son
as cool as Mike
at least
McDaniel.
buys a dime bag every other day. Have you seen a picture of Jimbo's son? That
Dude,
dude's
his jersey
says
his jersey says Lil Fish.
yes.
Dude,
It has the chain. He has the chain on.
Hey, whoa, stop. We don't need to do this because there's definitely some special situation going on.
That kid is going to spend his life in prison. He's going to spend his life in prison.
He has an illness. They have a foundation for his illness.
Oh, I did not know that.
I did not know that.
I did not know that. All I've seen is the picture with him with the big old chain, and I was
this
like,
kid has a disease that's gonna kill him early on in life, and y'all are making fun of him.
Way to live it up, then. Hey, I didn't know that, Mr. Little Fish. Mr. Little Fish, you live it up. Get on that Make-A-Wish Foundation, and you go party with whoever you want to.
I take you back. He doesn't buy Coke every week. I'm sorry.
Hey, good news.
I'm trying to keep the FIK podcast alive here, and y'all.
Good news. We are like 100 minutes into this podcast, and
no
one is still listening, so we're good.
The average lifespan is 20 to 30 years old, and y'all jerks are making fun of it.
God,
I'm not making fun of him. I'm just saying. That he might make some poor life choices in his life, but that's fine. He's got a shorter life.
He ain't gonna have a lot of choices to make here shortly.
So there you go.
I mean, golly. This better never get released to the public because Jimbo Fisher's gonna cancel us.
If Jimbo Fisher knows how to work YouTube, I'll be impressed.
I'll be mad. I'll actually be mad because I know Jimbo, Nick Saban, they all like to use that coach speak. They're like, I don't know how to work face space or tweet bird or whatever. If he knows how to use YouTube, I'm gonna be ticked.
No, I'll just be mad because Jimbo's running an offense from 1985 where everything is slow as molasses. And so it's like, hey, man.
This is my favorite offensive quarterback in Texas A&M. This is my favorite position. Hands on the hips, 4 seconds left on the play clock, and we still got our hands on our hips.
Yep.
What are we doing?
So I've decided, I think this is a mandatory thing for the podcast is for every delay of game penalty for Texas A&M for the rest of the year, it's a shot.
Dude, that's
honestly
while we're watching the game, I think it's a shot.
I will be blacked out by halftime.
Yeah, we will all be shit faced before the first quarter.
If it was delay of games off of dead balls, I would be blackout.
I
usually watch games at bars that would make me have to drive home intoxicated. So
there's no worse feeling
Uber
than see your team call a timeout,
like $100,
and then they get a delay of game out of the timeout. That is the most annoying thing I've ever seen. You should be snapping the ball with 25 seconds on the play clock.
That's coaching malpractice right there.
That is coaching malpractice.
If Peyton Manning watched an A&M game, he would lose his ever living football.
Oh, he's so fun to watch though when they do that.
He literally he's just like call a timeout.
Take a timeout.
Take a timeout. Call a timeout.
It's great. The Aggies play Mississippi State this week. We alluded to it earlier, like an hour and a half ago, but we will have our first guest on the podcast next week with Jonathan's sister and husband, who now I'm blank. I know that she went to Mississippi State. Did he go?
No, he did too.
Okay, they both went to Mississippi State, so they're gonna join us, win or lose. To one side is gonna be talking significant smack to the other.
I essentially told her like, if they win, she can come on and talk all the shit she wants. If we win, there's 4 of us to roast the shit out of State.
And State, they're favored by 4 points. So
dude,
they should win is what Vegas thinks.
With a pirate catch, a hook. Like, I'm making fun of the pirate all day. It's going to be great.
And we do, on the FIK podcast, we do not judge the political opinions of other people.
Okay. Thank you for throwing that out there, Shane. I wasn't really thinking about that, but it's at State too. So like they're at home. Those cowbells are going to be ringing. I hate those freaking cowbells.
I do too.
Hey,
we will discuss.
we will discuss with her and Roger. But if for some reason State does win, they can bring the cowbell on for like 2 seconds because the sound quality would just be atrocious on that. So we can't have too much of that. It's not because I'm a sore loser for everyone who's listening here. It's because you won't hear anything if you just hear a cowbell all day.
I'm a sore
loser though. So
I am a sore loser, but that's not why. I'm all about professionalism here.
I want it to be publicly noted though that I invited every guy that I physically hang out with to go to that game this week, and no one, including you three, would fucking go with me.
Okay.
Have you?
While we're on that topic, you gave us less than a week or exactly a week notice.
I came back
to go to a different state.
I came back from a hunting trip, and I got back on Sunday night. I sat down for 5 minutes, and Paige looked at me. My wife looked at me and said, "Tickets are pretty cheap. Do you want to drive to Mississippi this week and go to that game? I know you really want to." Because I have been trying to get my sister to meet me in Starkville to go to that game, and she won't go because she says it's too far. Because it's 13 hours for her, it's 8 hours for us.
I mean, that's
Jonathan. Let's just get this out in the open. You are living in Joe Biden's America. You think we can just drop everything we have to spend $8 a gallon on gas and drive to Mississippi?
I absolutely think
interest rates are climbing. Your boy's trying to buy a house. Let's get started on the interest rates.
Shane just said we're not doing this political thing.
We got a bunch of dumbass politicians that spend so much money that we end up paying for it through inflation. Then they raise interest rates. You think Joe Biden is buying a house under interest? He's got 6 houses that are paid off with cash because our dude's a millionaire. He don't care if the interest rates are up. It only affects us.
He lives in Nantucket. He lives inside Nantucket.
He lives a normal life
without interest.
All right, hey, for all of our listeners, it's currently 10:31 Central Time. We started recording this process at about 7:45, and it's run so long because we have like an hour and a half talk about interest rates and buying houses and all of those things. So we've been that's where that came from.
2 of us are about to be homeless here. I won't have to do this podcast.
Half of the podcast is trying to buy a house and the interest rates are just too high. So that's where that came from. All right. Hey, here we go. We got to wrap it up. It's getting late.
I want to timestamp that moment right there. Can we timestamp that?
Here we go.
This is going to be my house.
I'll record how long it takes us to get to the end of the podcast, and then we can go backwards.
The American dream, isn't it? Joe Biden's American dream.
Hey, Blake, shut up. All right, let's talk about football because this is the Football is King podcast. We're finally here. Hey, did you know that all of our NFL teams suck except for Blake's, who they also suck? So we went
a loser.
We went 1-3 this week. Shane, the Saints, they're terrible. Their offense is awful. And of course, this is the point where we talk about the Saints. So Shane has no Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi gone.
All right.
Hello, there he is.
No, it's bad. It's terrible.
Truthfully, that was all that needed to be said. Anyways, was nothing.
I mean, their defense is good. Their offense is terrible. End of story.
We lost.
All right. Yeah, it's fine. Moving on. Hey.
Wait. Time out.
Okay.
What happened to defense wins championships? Because that is the biggest lie I've ever heard in my darn life.
All right.
Their defense isn't that great.
The statement needs to be updated to defense wins championships if they have some offense. I mean, their defense only gave up 15 points.
Yeah, they have a good defense.
Because the Carolina had a defensive touchdown. So, I mean, they only gave up 15 points. They only gave up what? How many points did they give up to Tom Brady before Lattimore got suspended?
It wasn't much, I don't think, was it?
Seven.
It was
no, it was
7,
only field goals. It was
I
think it was maybe 9.
that sounds bad.
The Bucks offense looks awful.
Putrid.
And then Lattimore and him got into it.
Yeah, and then Brady threw one touchdown pass, and that's it. He threw one touchdown pass, and then Tampa
still ended up beating the shit out of them.
Because Jameis decided to throw 3 interceptions on like 5 consecutive passes.
Hey, Jameis and Jameis, bro. Like,
yep, that's true. All right. So I honestly believe that the Saints are worse than the worst team in football currently, and that's the Las Vegas Raiders, who are the only 0-3 team. Even the Houston Texans have a tie.
Aren't 0-3. They're not 0-3.
They're not 0-3, but they have not won a football game.
They haven't won, but they're
However,
not 0-3.
all of the Las Vegas Raiders games have been decided by 1 score or less. So they're not terrible, but they're
Some
not
are saying,
good.
Are they the best 0-3 team in the NFL?
They are the best 0-3 team in the NFL.
Some are saying.
Yo, we have hit a threshold on time that Blake has now gone delusional. Like, Blake is like, he's on one now. Like, he's ready to go. This is the moment that we need to start recording with Blake.
It's only 11:30.
I didn't even
No,
watch.
I know, but like, you've hit the moment where like gloves are off. It's all being said. I'm still holding back laughter from the interest rate rant.
It's getting stressful out here.
Did anyone actually watch the end of the Raiders game? I don't know what their 2-point conversion play was to tie, because I
couldn't see it.
So yeah, I couldn't see it either because
I was shooting birds out in the field.
Because I know everyone who's listening to this also follows the FIK podcast on Twitter and realized that there was no live tweet Sunday this Sunday, which was very sad because I left my computer at home, and so I couldn't live tweet Sunday. So
Austin,
I couldn't.
You can
watch
tweet from your phone.
No, I can't actually.
It wouldn't let me log in. I tried to do it.
It won't let me log in on my phone because it won't let me log in through Google, which is how I logged in on my computer. So that was a rough.
That's
scenario.
why I couldn't get in on my phone.
Yeah, even though I typed the password correct, it won't let it work. So I left my computer at home, couldn't hashtag live tweet Sunday. Which also meant because I didn't bring my computer, I could not watch NFL Sunday Ticket and watch 4 games at once. So I couldn't watch the Raiders game. But I was following it on my phone. I just didn't see what happened on the 2-point conversion. They scored very late in the game, and they went for 2 to tie it because they were down 22-24, and they just didn't get it. So the Raiders have been close. They just got to get it figured out. Which
greatest 0-3 team in history.
It does still scare me that the Raiders can. I mean, they're probably not going to win the division, but they could be a sleeper AFC playoff team starting 0-3. The problem is, I think only like 4% of teams that start 0-3 makes the playoffs. So they've dug themselves a hole.
So
the AFC West went from like this could be a dominant division to like we're a Justin Herbert like couple weeks out potential from like the AFC West not being that competitive.
The Chiefs might be the only dominant team in the AFC West.
Yeah.
Good.
Dude, the Broncos are
garbage.
Also,
the Chargers.
I'm still on the team that the Broncos offense can get it figured out. And then that's scary because the Broncos defense also looks good. They look good. They don't give up very many points.
I like a timeout.
The Chargers.
I like a timeout.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe a timeout. He might want a timeout here.
Oh, you're doing Nathaniel Hackett. Okay, I get. I thought you wanted to say something, but
time in.
Manning called 47 timeouts before the Broncos called the timeout.
Time in. The Chargers are like the Oregon of the NFL. They're going to win a couple games. They're going to score a lot of points. They're going to do some crazy plays, but they're going to be 8-9.
Only because Herbert got injured. If Herbert,
that's true.
I think that the Chargers actually their best strategy to be successful is to bench him for 2 games, let him get fully healthy, and then play him again. I think if they keep him playing while he's half injured, that it's going to be a recipe for disaster. He looked awful on Sunday.
Yeah, 31-10 or whatever it was.
38-10. 38-10
like,
to Jacksonville.
Take him out of the
home.
game. You're a head coach. Like protect him from himself.
He was. I looked it up earlier. He was 24 or something for 42 or some crap like that. You do not throw the ball that much when your quarterback has no ribs.
He was 25 of 45.
It was only his cartilage.
That's pretty close.
Okay. I alluded to this earlier. The Chiefs lost to the Colts because they always do, because they're our curse. There's 2 things. I'm not on Sunday. I'm at my sister's house watching the game as per usual, and I'm just like nothing but screaming at the television because the Chiefs were so bad all day. It started from the very beginning. I hadn't even made it home from church. Blake texts me, well, that's not a very good start, Austin. And I get there and it's like, all right, we're already down 7-0 because we drop a punt on the 4. Our defense gets a 3 and out for the first time ever. And we drop the punt on the 4-yard line because Sky Moore just is supposed to be a superstar and he doesn't have it, in my opinion. But whatever. I need to know, what did Chris Jones say to Matt Ryan? Like, he better have told Matt Ryan, he better have been the kid from the Sandlot. He better have been talking about how he's going to bang his sister out in left field. Like, that's what better have been happening for Chris Jones to get a 15-yard penalty on that play.
Better have been something good.
Or
he better have called him everything but a son of God.
Yeah,
Lord
he better have called him a honky, a cracker, like something along those lines for that to be a 15-yard penalty. Because you watch last week with Lattimore and Tom Brady and all the coaches and Bruce Arians and all these guys just freaking screaming F-bombs at each other. Like, Chris Jones better have said something that is so terrible that ref threw a 15-yard penalty. Also, every single team that has a dome with the effing windows and the sun, the Cowboys have it, and
Cowboys do it.
It's so terrible to watch. It's so bad to watch, and the Colts are notorious for it as well.
That's why Irsay
competitive advantage.
That's why Irsay tweets it out every morning. Is it going to be an open roof or closed roof today?
It's so bad. I don't even care that it affects the football. It's awful to watch on television.
I agree. All the shadows, I don't like
the shadows. Also, like, can you imagine being one of those fans and like having good seats? Like, you have good seats
into the sun,
and you're just like, I can't see the whole football game because the sun is in my eyes because Irsay decided to open the roof.
Yeah, I'd probably be pretty mad.
So that's it. I mean, we could add an extra 2 hours to this podcast if I was going to talk about the Chiefs Colts game, but we're not going to do that.
I don't think we should do that.
No, we shouldn't, because we've been talking for way longer than we were supposed to. And the Cowboys Giants game was terrible. We talked about it a lot. I will say I do like watching Saquon be kind of back. The rest of the Giants offense is real bad, but Saquon Barkley is a great running back and he's fun to watch. He's got so much burst. It's crazy.
I love him for my fantasy league.
Yeah, I thought he looked pretty electric.
Cowboys defense is great. The offense just needs to score 24 points a game and they'll win 80% of their games. In my opinion, because their defense is just great. Their defense is rock solid.
Their problem is they're with the Eagles, and the Eagles look pretty dang good.
The Eagles do look good. They haven't really played anybody, but their schedule is so weak. So
yeah, they're dominating folks.
Yeah. But yeah, I think
11 o'clock.
Yeah, I think if Cooper Rush can score 24 points a game, they will win 80% of their games because their schedule is also weak. So, all right, boom, we made it. We made it through everything. All we have left to do is really quickly say our picks for this week. Another thing.
You look at the agenda, you wouldn't have think this took as long as it would have.
No, I knew it was going to be a long one because of all the miscellaneous things that were going to take longer. We didn't talk about as many games, but we had some fun topics. So hopefully, since most of our people only watched the first 15 minutes of the show, we talked about all the fun things like the butt fumble and the butt punt and all those things in there. When it comes to our gambling picks, number one, please gamble responsibly. Number two,
don't do it.
We lock these picks in on Tuesday morning, or not Tuesday morning, Tuesday evening. And so there's a lot that can change between Tuesday evening and Saturday and Sunday, but we feel very confident about them. So we're going to show them to you anyway. Here we go. I do the thing and I hit the share screen button and I do that, and voila, boom. So here we go. We actually have a lot of consistent games this week. So Blake took the Vikings at -2.5.
Kirk Cousins time in England.
3. And that is the London game this week.
Yeah.
Yep. The London game has always hit the under. So the London under game is I know we only do the spread here, but for all of our gambling people, I must say take the under on that. Blake is going all chalk, all favorites. Vikings
all
minus
favorites,
2.5, Bills -3, and Lions -4.5. Also staying all professional football.
College is too much.
College is very hard to actually feel confident on, but I know that's where you can make.
I'm making my killing off of college. I've yet to pick an NFL game.
I'm just saying it's so hard to feel confident. Like anything can happen.
They're so different week to week.
This week is all difficult because the spreads have been terrible.
Yeah. All right.
This week's hard.
Shane picked Kansas to cover their Kansas 4-0 Kansas are 3.5-point dogs. He also thinks the Aggies are going to cover at Mississippi State. Good for them. And he also is on the Vikings. So Shane is our worst gambler so far.
I don't like that.
So Blake has a matching game, and I do as well because I also think that Kansas will cover the 3.5-point spread. I don't feel great about that.
Them too. Oh no, I have Kansas State right. Yep.
Yeah, but you have the Aggies, so we all match with Shane. So that's a problem. So
well, that's good for me. Hopefully.
It's great for Shane.
No, I don't have anything that matches Shane.
Yeah, you do. You took the Aggies 3.5, and he has Aggies plus 4.
Yeah, I see that he did take the Aggies at 4. I got him at 3.5.
Jonathan, like he said, stayed all college. He's got Kentucky plus 6.5, Kansas State after their big win over Oklahoma. So that might be an overreaction line, but we'll find out. And he also takes A&M to cover the spread in Starkville. And then I took the Cowboys I locked them in at -2.5 this morning before they went to 3.5. I think they'll cover the 3.5 against Washington.
I almost took the Army game.
My random college game that I know nothing about is I got Army -7.5, and I got KU covering the spread as well.
Who's Army playing?
I don't even know.
Air Force.
No, it's Austin. Not. Air Force is like 17-point favorites this week, I think. Hold on. I got it right here. Give me someone stall.
Okay, I was going to say, this should make you feel good because I almost took Army, I thought.
I really don't like the picks I have, but I'm going with it.
Army is playing Georgia State at home.
Oh, no, that's a good bet. No, that's good. Georgia State's not good.
Yeah.
No shit.
Not good.
So Georgia State is 0-4. Army is only 1-2, but Army's playing at home. Army plays that good physical football that everyone loves to watch, the triple option. So
triple option, baby.
Yeah. So all right. Hey, that's gonna do us for the FIK podcast this week. We appreciate it. We got some tweets in this week, which is good. I will remember to bring my computer for live tweet Sunday. And we'll see you next time. Hopefully everyone's going to be a winner this week. We got no conflicting games. A&M's going to win. Our 4 NFL teams are going to win. Hopefully maybe not the Raiders, though. They could lose. That'd be awesome. I need the Saints to lose. The Raiders could be 0-17, the only team that ever does it. It'd be a part of history. It'd be a fantastic time. But we'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Aggies.